No hipsters.
No hipsters.
No hipsters pod.
Episode 79, No Hipsters Pod. Your boy Ron, the founder of NoHipstersAllowed.com, and today we have two guests. First of all, we have one of the MVPs of the podcast, Nneka, Obiekwe. Thank you so much for coming back again. Founder of Vanity, and just, a champion of survivors of sexual assault. And then we also have incoming MVP as well, Onyeka. Thank you so much for joining. And this is just one of your collaborators, also a lawyer in training, and so glad to have you. We have lots to talk about. I think this is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and so I think these are probably two of the best people I could think of to have for this show. But there's a lot to talk about that I think ties into that unfortunate theme, and so let's get started. So, I would say it's been a week and a half now, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So, Sean Diddy Combs had 3 of his homes searched simultaneously by Homeland Security. His home in Miami, his home in LA, and his home in New York. We don't know for sure why. There's been speculation, but there's reason to believe that has to do with possible sex trafficking. And we also know that based on all the suits that he's had over the last, say, 5 months now, that there have been allegations to that, effect, basically. Mm-hmm. And so we don't know what's happening. We saw clips of the they call it a raid. It's really a search because the judge has to sign off on it. But we saw clips of the raid. We saw his sons being put in handcuffs. And it's just, we found out lots of new information that he has a drug deal apparently. Who went to Syracuse?
Okay, leave that out of here. Wow. Wow. That was unnecessary.
But yes, so his drug deal was a former basketball player at her alma mater.
Don't do it again. Bring it back.
Right. Just tying all the themes together, And so that's what really a shocking discovery. And all while this is happening, the alleged mule got arrested at the Miami airport. There's so much is happening at the same time, and to have people revisiting all the prior lawsuits and looking at facts that maybe we overlooked at the time about young Miami allegedly, possibly carrying substances, pink cocaine, they say. And then we just see all apparently this video that Diddy showed, the video to Lil Rod when his accusers, a video of Stevie J apparently engaged in intercourse with a man, which I just want to start by saying I think people are hooked on the wrong facts about all
absolutely,
this.
Yeah.
And so, but before I go any further, let's start with Onyeka. Just a few of your thoughts.
So my original reaction was a little bit of, I was more shocked at what people were focused on, you all were saying, people's interest in who were the sexual partners and not necessarily the violence that we were talking about or the issues that we already know that Diddy has always had. He has a history of violence. Now we can't say for sure with the parties involved what happened. If it's true, I always like to lean on the side of those that are speaking out because it's really hard, especially for men in cases where it's a man that is speaking out because it's so rare for that to happen. So I feel like you do have to give the benefit of the doubt on the side of those that are reporting the issues. And I feel like that's where my original thoughts were at first. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I say it every time I'm here. Patterns, right? Whenever we have conversations around allegations of abuse, the easiest way to substantiate claims is to look at the pattern of allegations. And I did a very quick search before this to get a better understanding of exactly what the allegations are. And I was not surprised to find this, but it was more of a jolt of memory. These allegations stem back to the 1990s. And 91. It's 91, various forms of violence, both sexual violence and physical violence against both men and women, right? So what we know is that this is a moment of reckoning, not too different than what we've seen with other celebrities that have a pattern of behavior. Lots of different things have been circling around.
He did say he doesn't believe none of it, though.
Well, he's very credible.
That's who you want on your side.
Went to interview expert R. Kelly to find out what he thinks.
Love that. But and I do hope for Diddy's sake that someone else comes, to his defense. But I don't know if that he's got CBJ, also questionable.
But also possibly a victim, really, with everything we're hearing.
Yeah, that's what we're hearing. Yeah, I mean, I think what we've always known is that Diddy colors outside the lines. Yeah. And likely has some sort of God complex, narcissistic characteristics that really makes him feel as though he can do whatever he wants with whoever he wants. But to Onyeka's point, the most important thing is that we focus more on just consents and not on the actual acts or the gender or speculation around sexuality and things of that nature, because that really has no bearing on conversations around sexual assault or human trafficking, right? So those are my initial thoughts.
Yeah.
Right. Very well said. And I can't let go of the fact that we wouldn't know any of this if Cassie didn't file that lawsuit.
Yeah.
Because she really just, after she did it, I think it gave a lot of people the courage to come forward, and it's just been kind of like a domino effect ever since. And so I just, first of all, he was stupid to not pay her the $30 million she asked for, because now I think it's all costing him way more. He has to sell his stake in Revolt, and he's losing so much right now, and I don't think he will ever be the same, as a celebrity,
Yeah.
So it's very, 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 very interesting turn of events.
Yeah.
He has been very oddly shameless since it's happened, in the sense that he's been seen in public multiple times. Is
that odd? He thinks he's God.
What?
For a narcissist? Is that odd? Okay. That's on brand.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he got away with it for so long. And he was able to hide behind the culture. And it's an unfortunate thing, the existing culture that hip-hop had created for such a long time.
Right. And I think we also have this billionaire worship thing that has gotten only worse with time. Yeah. And so I think people always just kind of defer to whoever has the most money. Yeah. And so, but you're saying it's not out of your right, but I thought, wow, if something like this happened, I'll be so out of the way. But
you're normal.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, being normal, we take it for granted.
Right. But I'm like, wow, he's been seen everywhere. And the last time he saw a bunch of fans in Miami, and they were all actually being very they were just starstruck, all of them. And he goes, pray for your brother. I'm like, oh, he's turning it into I'm this victim
he's a victim.
Yeah. And so it's very, 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 very odd. And let's just stay tuned to see how all this plays out. But I think Diddy is on his way out, honestly.
Yeah. He doesn't think so, though.
He doesn't. But I think, because by the time the Homeland Security is searching through every home at the same time, I think they have enough evidence
absolutely
to the wall.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how that goes.
We'll see how it goes.
Another similarly disturbing topic, maybe not as grave technically, but definitely I feel like there's a bit of overlap here.
Okay.
And that is Aoki Lee Simmons and her new boyfriend. I mean, she calls him that, which is weird to call someone that old.
She does.
Boyfriend, but her new boyfriend, Vittorio Asaf. He is a restaurateur. He owns a few restaurants. The one most of us would know is Serafina. Yeah. And I don't know how much money he has, but he has to be wealthy, right?
We hope. Really hope.
Because first of all, it became public because there were paparazzi shots of her, cupcaking with him on the beach in St. Bart's, and the day later, as she's being really, very and what about it? She's posted pictures. She went on live with him in the live shot, and with him also saying that he apparently Mary J. Blige wanted to get with him.
You know Mary J. Blige wanted to be my partner?
Baby, you were on. Shush. Huh? Shush.
I saw that. That was very odd.
Poor Mary J.
I mean, people are just catching it.
So anyway, but that's a way more age-appropriate relationship. But she's Aoki Simmons. Lee Simmons is 21, turning 22 in August, and this man is, they say, 64, 65.
65,
And so he can comfortably be her grandfather. and he's older than almost Russell, just like a year or two younger than Russell Simmons.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of reaction, understandably. And let me start by saying Aoki is an adult and she can make whatever decision she wants.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we will be remiss to, say that this wasn't
slightly concerning.
Yeah. Right.
Slightly. And I think Onyeka and I, we've talked about this, and we have somewhat similar opinions, but I think still some differences.
Yes.
So I think maybe we start,
I think where we differ is that I actually don't necessarily buy that it's about money. I think that that's what everybody, a lot of people think.
A lot of people on the internet, I don't think so either.
So I don't buy it only because I feel like if she wanted money, she could get it from someone closer to her age.
Right.
Considering the types of circles she has access to, both through her father and her mom, where she went to college. She definitely has access to other super wealthy people. It didn't have to be a 65-year-old.
Exactly.
So I'm not fully convinced about it being money.
Just for context, so a lot of the reaction online is that she's doing this for money and replacing his sugar baby. And I agree with you because number one, there have been reports about the Simmons having money issues because I think Russell Simmons either has lost a lot of money or doesn't have access to it anymore. She had made posts last year about all the financial abuse that he was basically inflicting on her and her sister. And so maybe the finances aren't what they used to be. The internet still says Russell Simmons is worth $400 million. Who knows how true it is? He's in Bali, on this extended vacation, wink wink. And so, but we don't really know what it is, but what I know for sure is that her situation is not that bad, where she needs to be with a 65-year-old man for money, if that's the motivation. She could truly love him. And also, like you said, there are other wealthy people. He's not the last rich man on earth. Right? So she could find people with more money. I mean, they're richer people, younger people. She could have
been like Elon Musk or something.
Yeah, I mean,
very special kind of thing.
Right. But I mean, for a 21-year-old model who's Harvard educated and has this rich pedigree, I think she has options.
Yeah.
So a part of me thinks maybe she does like him, which opens questions about whether or not this is just one of those cycles they speak of, and it's possibly a generational curse. I hate that term, but generational curse.
I don't think it's a generational curse, but I do think that we can't ignore the trauma of what she was born into, because her mom was really, really young when she met Russell Simmons. Sorry, we're not bringing Russell into this. Her mom was really, really young. I think she was in her teens when she met Russell, and Russell was 35. And I was actually saying that in the grand scheme of things, when I think about the two relationships, I think that at least she is 21. She's an adult that can make decisions for herself, whereas her mother was she was a child.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if she was 16, but she was 17. Yeah.
21, has a bit of money and fame, so she's a bit more powerful in the situation, so to speak.
Sure.
But there have been rumors about, Russell Simmons and Kimura's relationship being inappropriate in its early days. And so
I mean, I agree. I think that to be honest with you, my first thought was models and wealthy men are not necessarily an uncommon practice, right? So I think there's a lot of layers to it. There is definitely the family dynamic of the young mother, underage mother, quite frankly, with someone who was not only older but more powerful, more influential, and based on some of the allegations that have come out since, also potentially has a pattern of abusive behavior as well, whether it's controlling, kind of mental abuse, or physical and sexual abuse as well, right? So we know that there's a pattern of behavior in the home, to Onyeka's point, that creates trauma in the bloodline. And that absolutely is something that could be repeated or could be a part of her cycle. But it also just sounds like she herself, for whatever reason, I can only speculate, is just kind of going through a difficult time, right? I think that some people experience, family shifts and financial shifts in a traumatic way as well. And that can really be triggering. And it can be triggering something in her to want to try to gain control over her life in some way. And sometimes that happens in a way that is perceived by others as chaotic or unhealthy. And so it's like we're watching this. What's most uncomfortable, I would say, in the last couple of days, beyond the fact that I wouldn't touch that man, with a 10-foot pole, and that's just a personal preference. At my big age, I still wouldn't. But beyond that, it's usually when I see her on live now with him talking about him, she doesn't always even seem very sober. And to me, I'm curious about her state of mind, and I'm curious about her, just where she is mentally and emotionally, where her identity stands, her self-esteem stands, and how that might be influencing the types of things she's doing and the types of people she's interacting with. Where I differ from other people, and Onyeka and I talked about this, is the age thing. Age is not a big deal to me. It's not a big deal to me. I don't think I would do it, but I do think that there are people who have felt like they have found someone that they were attracted to that was older than them. And I think that the biggest indicator for me is consent, healthy mind, someone just being in the right place to make decisions, to adequately govern yourself and your relationship on equal footing. And when I see those two, I see a father and daughter. Their interaction is giving father and daughter. That makes me feel uncomfortable. And it just makes me wonder again, what the motivation is, and if there's something else to it that we should be paying attention to.
It's just yikes all around.
Honestly,
Kimura would do all that shit with Jordan Woods and Chloe a few years ago. She really should have been paying attention to her kids. Lastly, let's talk about Amanda Seales. Actor, one-time singer. She's been in Floetry, right?
I did not know she was a singer. That was new information that I learned from the Breakfast Club a few years ago. She sang?
She TV host, cast on Insecure. She's been in the game for a long time. She was introduced to most of us as Amanda Diva. And she recently went on Instagram and said,
if it wasn't for y'all, I would really think that I ain't doing, because the industry I'm in does not recognize me. And to be clear, I'm speaking about the black spaces in the industry I'm in, because y'all know I don't give two damns about any of these other spaces, but the black spaces is what I'm referring to, which is largely in part why I've realized I need to shift out of this industry. I don't get invited to Essence Women in Hollywood. I've never been invited to the NAACP Image Awards. I've been nominated for an Image Award. Never been invited to the NAACP Image Awards. Never been honored at Black Girls Rock. I've hosted these events. You know what I'm saying? I literally hosted the BET Awards in 2020 in my house, and I was not invited to the BET Awards since.
Dang, Amanda.
And so all that happened, and people and what happened was a lot of people were she's known to be annoying, and mind you, this all comes a few years after she went live from an Emmy party for Black Hollywood, where she was being escorted out, and it was a whole thing. And at the time, because I actually talked about it on the podcast at the time, and I remember thinking the most embarrassing part is that she didn't think this was something she should keep a secret. This is your dirty little secret, right? And so clearly things haven't changed as far as her relationships in the business. So she says this on Instagram. There's a lot of reaction. A lot of people were supportive of her, but a lot of people say actually she's very annoying. And people who have an uncle, auntie in business say, "Oh yeah, I've heard that." Blah blah blah. Anyway, Essence magazine then posts an op-ed, and I don't know if anyone can pull up the headline, but it said something to the effect of, being likable is more important than being good at your job. And it basically it starts really general, and it kind of hones in on Amanda Seales, and and I can appreciate the point about likability as someone who's worked in corporate America, and we can all appreciate that, but I think likability, even though it's something that is important, and I think we can generally agree on the characteristics that make a person likable, I also think that there are lots of qualities about any of us that are out of our control that determine whether people like us, whether people take to us naturally. And if we're saying that likability is the secret sauce to success in any business, then we're agreeing that that white people are just, inherently more likable, or that men are more likable. And we all know that that's not true, right? And so clearly, part of what makes anyone likable to any of us is our biases and the qualities that we take to. And so I just wanted to know, and also since then, the Griot, another black publication, has also made a similar post. And so Amanda also responded. I think in that response kind of like showed the qualities I think a lot of people don't like. She says, she went into this very Marta type speech.
Okay, honestly, I've had enough. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Really? 3 pieces. 3 from 3 people I have never met in my life. From 3 publications that are supposed to be about uplifting black people, which is all I have dedicated my life to doing.
Oh, I'm speaking for the people. And whatever, and fine. Even though she might say things that make you roll your eyes, I still don't think it rises to the level of being attacked this much. And for publications that are supposed to uplift black people piling on in this way, I think it was an odd choice by both Essence and the Griot. And I think we don't see this if we're piling on in this way for R. Kelly or Diddy or whoever. I think we'd have less of these really dangerous people going really far. I think we have a way of zeroing in on people like Amanda Seales, usually women. I've come to see, and so just these are my thoughts. I feel like I'm rambling at this point, but thoughts. Go first.
I actually think that likability is a horrible measure, especially in relation to women, and in particular black women. I think that oftentimes it's really easy for people to not like black women, and for the things that for the qualities that you might find strong, or good work qualities, right? You will see them in a black woman and you'll say, oh, she's too aggressive, or oh, she's too loud, or oh, she's too opinionated. She never knows when to be quiet. And so I think that for me, I'm not an Amanda Seales fan. It's nothing personal that she did to me or anything, but I actually feel really, but I feel really bad for her. And I am one of those people that tries to extend grace to black women wherever they are. And it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum they're on, or especially if we think differently. I try my hardest to extend grace. And so even while not necessarily being a fan of Amanda Seales, I feel like it was a lot what they did. Because I saw TikTok videos and articles, and I was it was way too much, because I'm she came out, she complained about the fact that people don't invite her places, and she should be able to do that without having people write articles tearing her down and criticizing her and saying, well, you're not likable, you share your opinions too much.
It's a dangerous game to play. Because if everyone gets held to that, we will all be shocked to find out how unlikable we really are. So and I think they don't do that to men in Hollywood, right? There are tons of men in Hollywood who are super successful, who you hear have horrible personalities, but they still get to be successful. They still get invited to the parties. They still get to go to the BET Awards. So why is Amanda Seales? You know what I mean? She just seems she seems like one of those people that is very, very honest. And sometimes I think that honesty presents as a harshness. Right. And at least from what I could, because I saw her a few times, it's not The View that she was on, it was on The Real. And I think that, and there are a few people that I can think about in my brain right now who are in my life who I was concerned about whether or not we could, really be friends because of the way that they present information. But then I got to know them.
I thought you said that.
And when I got to know them, and I was actually, this is a really sweet person. She just doesn't understand how to be soft around the edges. And if you don't know that about her, it's easy to find this person harsh or mean or aggressive. But they're no way trying to be that. And so I feel like that's what I see in Amanda Seales. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if I knew her, there's more depth to it. But I think her honesty comes off as a really harsh thing for people.
Right, and I appreciate the point. My thing is, even if she was genuinely as annoying as they say she is, like you said, there are many people with probably worse reputations who don't get, like, you know, raked over the coal in the same way. So, yeah, thoughts.
Well, I didn't read the article, okay, so I'm not going to, but you guys know I'm going to disagree. There's two reasons I like to disagree. One, I literally like disagreeing with people. But the second reason is because I do think likability is a factor. And the reason I think so, it goes back to what I said earlier about patterns. I think that for every outlet that came forward and made a comment around likability, if even just one person came forward to say something likable about her, that might demonstrate to me that she may not be part of the problem. Does anyone like her? Where are her friends?
Do you mean like anyone of note? Not like a random Twitter fan?
Not any fans, because we don't know her. We don't know the woman. You know, if someone were, there are people who are going.
Got on Twitter, was like,
absolutely,
hey, like, not too much.
People that work with her, you know, I'm sure there's plenty of people that could say Nneka Obiekwe is not likable for this reason, and I still know there will be people that will step up and say, "Whoa, don't talk about Nneka." And so I'm a little that gives me pause. But I would also add that maybe we can change the article to coachability, accountability are important parts of your career trajectory. You're not always going to be liked, I agree. And you're not always going to do things that people like, I agree. However, you should be able to take feedback. And one of the best things that I'd say that I've, you know, added into my own career is being extremely coachable, meaning I don't try to be perfect and I don't try to do things to ensure that no one gets upset. Like, you know, I do my best, but I take feedback really well. And that might just mean sitting down with it and reflecting on what does that really look like, and also thinking about, has anyone else said this to me before? Is there anything that I can do to change this? Can I be more of an active participant? And it makes me wonder, if we're going to talk about allegations of, you know, toxic behavior, abuse, and everything else with some of these other celebrities that we know we've heard for years, and we know we're hearing them from different parts of the industry, and we're holding them accountable due to the fact that they are creating these environments with no sense of accountability, no sense of respect for the people that they're impacting, and we are, you know, championing those who are coming forward and saying this is what it is, then I think that it is only fair in a less traumatic example, or less dangerous rather example, to still, you know, hold her to the fire and ask, like, what work has she done to try to address some of the things that we have consistently heard. We've heard things like that about Naomi Campbell as well, right? There are certain celebrities that we have learned are in fact unlikable. And I think that for her to speak so openly about the impact to her career from the perspective of what she's being invited to and how she's being pulled into things, I don't know that I would say that out loud without doing some work, or without even speculating in that same conversation about, well, here are some things about myself that perhaps just don't jive. I don't know, right? Or maybe even make it a question. I'm curious to know, right? It almost feels like there's a lack of accountability, and I struggle to only take one person's side without hearing them tell me at least something that might indicate, you know, what role they played in what they're seeing. So yes, likability is a very biased, very, very biased way of measuring anyone when it comes to their success and achievements. Yes, likability is, especially in a corporate space or in certain spaces, oftentimes measured against cultural attributes and physical attributes and demographic attributes that are out of our control and are oftentimes, you know, in proximity to whiteness. And I 100% agree with those things, and have experienced that as well. But we're talking about Black audiences, both men and women, who have said the same thing over and over. And sis, if BET don't want you, we don't even want BET. So it just really makes you wonder, what is she doing?
Yeah.
It's fair. And I want to say, like, I'm not even like trying to engage whatever people are saying about her. My main issues with the publications have chosen to be this like aggressive about it. Winners and losers. Onyeka, since you are
okay,
I'll let you go first.
My winner is Beyonce. Obviously, she's the ultimate winner. Cowboy Carter, the best album ever. I mean, everything she does is great. So
it's a really good album.
So
great album.
Exactly. And my losers are. It came to my mind.
Before you say your losers,
okay.
Top 3 songs on Cowboy Carter.
Okay, Riverdance. I really like Riverdance. I really like what is the song with Miley Cyrus called?
Two Most Wanted.
And then I like Riverdance, Two Most Wanted. What is it? The one that I play the most? And Bodyguard.
Okay.
I like those 3.
Good.
Those are my favorite.
My top 3, it changes all the time. I would say Yaya, Bodyguard, and Two Most Wanted. So that's 3, 2, 1. Yeah. But it's a really good album.
Yeah.
Her cover of Blackbird is really nice.
Yeah.
And the reactions to this have been very, very weird. So someone on Threads, which is Instagram's Twitter, Paul McCartney posted, hey, when I wrote this song, he's been saying this for years, when I wrote the song, it was about the civil rights movement, particularly about the black girls of the civil rights movement. That's why it's called Blackbird. Beyonce's cover is great. I hope you hear it.
Yeah.
Someone responds, like, you know what, I know it's about civil rights, but your versions felt applicable to everyone. And not applicable to everyone. And everyone's like, I'm paraphrasing. I'm going to put the message on the screen. But basically, it was saying, yeah, yours was applicable to everyone and hers isn't. And like, first of all, you're telling the writer of the song what his song is about. He's telling you already that it was not like, the president said, oh, your version was non-racial. He's literally just told you what it was about.
Right.
So you're telling the writer of the song what it's about. But let's just say, all that aside, his version was applicable to everyone. Beyonce covered the song word for word. So
that's what I said. I thought she didn't change any words in that song.
Oh, I know what changed. She's black.
Exactly.
There's 4 black women on it.
It also features Tanner Adele, Britney Spencer, and Tiara.
Yeah, I love that song too.
I don't know Tiara's last name, but yeah, you're right.
Tiara Kennedy?
I think you might be right.
And so really, really nice song, really good album, and I think it's probably, this might be the one that finally gets album of the year. We
have to wait for Taylor Swift's album, obviously. It comes out in a few weeks.
Yeah, it does.
We'll see.
Yeah. We're not even going to go there. All right.
But someone was talking about it winning a Pulitzer Prize, and I was like, that'd be good. Cowboy Carter. Okay. They were saying they feel like Beyonce will win a Pulitzer Prize and not win Best Album.
Okay.
A Pulitzer. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but
Pulitzer.
Okay.
Call it Pulitzer before, but it's
Pulitzer,
but they don't be about shit.
And then my losers, it came to me when you were talking. My losers are J. Cole, Future, Drake, and Kendrick Lamar.
Wow.
I think all 4 of them are really silly. And Metro Boomin. All 5 of them. I think they're really silly. I think that they are.
They said Drake and Future felt like 2 bad bitches who went to
Yes. And I actually think that
like 2 bad bitches. Y'all like girls.
Oh yeah. And I feel like the losers of the losers are actually Drake and Future, because the fight now, everyone is talking simply about J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar. And no one is talking about the 2 of them.
Yeah.
In a way.
Because J. Cole did respond very directly to Kendrick Lamar. And I think it's a more unexpected fight. And also, like, did Drake like shoot at Travis Scott's head on stage just this last week? There's so much happening right now.
What? They're distracting from Beyonce. And I feel like this is the real problem.
Crazy music. It really has been. It really has been. But yeah, it's another loser.
No, it's just them. All 5 of them. All of them. All 5 of them. They're my losers.
I just want to first start off by saying that I love J. Cole and I love Future. I don't even know. In case you guys are watching, I am still a fan. Okay. And all the things. But also, get rid of that petty little fight you guys got going on. Okay, so you guys made me lose my train of thoughts.
Sorry.
Oh shoot, my loser.
You can start loser first. Okay.
I don't remember. I don't
winner?
know what my winner and losers
Okay.
are. Wait, you go first.
Are you sure?
Yes, because I just completely forgot.
Okay, my winner, actually I was going to say Beyonce as well, and I'm just going to add to what you said. I think she's just created this amazing, piece of work. I think this is probably one of her strongest albums. It didn't really take many listens for you to kind of get into it, and I think it was just so thoughtful and so, I think she really did her big one on this one, and I hate that it might be a country album that finally gets her these like big awards, but it's really, really, really solid, and I think she's using her power for good. And I think it's beautiful that she's too big for country to shut her out.
Yeah,
she's too big to be gate kept out of stuff, and so she's in country whether they like it or not. And it's beautiful to see someone with that much power actually flex in the way we all wish we could. So bravo to Beyonce. And second winner is Cassie. Like we said earlier, I think she set off something that is going to not only just change Diddy's life, but possibly change the music industry. Because I think it's showing that that no one is too big to
be taken down.
To be taken down.
I mean, it's taken a long time, but
it's taken a while. But I think what she did is looking to be a game changer.
Yeah.
And I really do think there will be more lawsuits.
Oh yeah,
Diddy,
definitely.
Yeah.
And then my losers. I'm blanking out as well. If you pull the picture up.
Wait, what thing? Wait, what? Oh, yeah.
And my losers. Okay, yeah. Losers, of course, Diddy, Stevie J, who has been like being very my man all week on the internet about Diddy and leaving spotted
Not
together.
my man.
I feel bad for almost saying that right now because I feel like I'm playing this as some of the worst.
You are.
All right, scratch that. But it's still funny. And and I think he's just I really think we all should be hiding and not be out here. Seeing riding bicycles and stuff. Like, listen, like you should like. There's a lot going on right now.
Oh
like,
my god!
You should be talking to your lawyers right now. But, anyways, and then my last loser would be actually not second. Actually, a couple losers. I think they're all connected. The Rock had an interview on Fox News this week, and he said he regrets endorsing Joe Biden in 2020.
The endorsement that I made years ago with Biden was one I thought was the best decision for me at that time. And I thought back then, when we talk about, hey, I'm in this position where I have some influence, and it's my job then. I felt like that then. It's my job now to exercise my influence and share with this is who I'm going to endorse. Am I going to do that again this year? That answer is no.
And basically threw a whole bunch of right-wing buzzwords. Oh, this woke culture, cancel culture. It barely made any sense. But he says that he wished he didn't make the endorsement. He spoke about division, and basically in a very concerted effort to remain neutral, he's saying he's no longer going to make endorsements. And so in his neutrality, though, like I said, he used a lot of right-wing language, and so I think he effectively endorsed Trump, and I think he's probably going to vote for Trump. And this really shouldn't be surprising. The Rock has been was a registered Republican for a long time, and then registered independent when he had to do this little acting thing. And so he's a loser. I think he was highly. He was not as slick as he thought he was, but it's all just so funny because he says all this like woke culture, and it's like you are a half black, half Polynesian man. And I think you are the very definition of DEI to a lot of these people, and it's just like, what are you talking about here? And so, even on so many of like his wrestling days, he would get like slurs hurled at him, and so it's so sad that he lacks awareness, and it's also silly. But yeah, The Rock loser. I can go on and on and on. But on that note of DEI, like just. Right-wingers in general losers right now because the way they've turned that term to basically a slur as opposed to just saying the N-word is just what they mean. I think it's just really it's almost laughable, but it's actually quite disgusting. Yeah. And I'm bringing that up in the context of the tragedy in Baltimore this past week where the Francis Scott Key Bridge basically was destroyed by a ship. and Baltimore's mayor made a speech, and there's this viral tweet about talking about the DEI mayor in a city that's 60% black. And so clearly, you just know what these people mean. All they ever mean is to be racist when they use these terms like DEI or woke or what have you. And so, those are my thoughts on that.
Yes. Okay. And I agree. I'm going to try not to agree again and forget. Okay, my winner. I don't remember what Glorilla said on that interview.
At the end of the day got to end.
Something to the effect of tomorrow has to come.
Yes.
But all I know is Glorilla, wherever you are, that was hilarious. We're not really sure what was going on behind those sunglasses, but it certainly made for great TV and great entertainment for the rest of us.
I was actually a bit like, why is she doing this on CNN? I was like,
what? Why are you on CNN? There are so many layers to the question, right? Yeah.
Putting out fire music right now.
Yes.
Yaglo is basically like my anthem.
Right. Yep.
And then she had the new song with Megan Stallion. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
So she's doing really, really well.
Yeah, she's killing it. So shout out to Glorilla for also killing it for the female rappers in a very interesting time in hip hop, to say the least. Agree also with Cassie, not only because of what she's done movement wise, but that she was able to not only move forward with her life, but monetize. Quite frankly, how many survivors really are able to stick it to their abusers in the way that she has? And I feel like she's really a great example to so many people about how to start over, and that you can start over, and that there is life outside of the experiences that you have. So big shout out to her. I want to know how she's going to use that money. But however she does, hopefully she just continues to glow and grow in the way that she has been. So shout out to her. As far as losers, I mean, Amanda Steele is a loser, guys. Like, come on. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, Amanda, gosh, wow. Ooh, that's awkward. Amanda's a loser just due to just a lack of accountability. And that was my hope for her, is that she can kind of maybe get a publicist that might keep her from getting on live so frequently, and that she can be a bit more coordinated and intentional about how she's showing up and putting herself out there. Authenticity is such a valuable part of how we live and work, and we should absolutely let ourselves shine through, but we should also know what parts of us are most appropriate where. And I think that's just a part of governing yourself as an adult. And if it's not working and it's affecting the coins, it might be time to do something different, sis. That's my message to you.
Ouch.
Sorry, Amanda.
Nneka, a joy as always. Onyeka, glad to see you again.
Thank you.
And let's, before we go, actually, I know this is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, like I mentioned earlier, and I know that Vanity is going through a relaunch of sorts and has other things planned. Tell us about that.
Sure, yes, it's Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and this theme is actually super great timing in terms of what Vanity stands for and really what we're working on, and it's all about community building. And this is really important because Vanity is all about really integrating supportive services and crisis response awareness into everyday places. So I really truly believe, as a founder of Vanity, that crisis response and support should exist everywhere that women exist. Why? Because 1 in 4 women are impacted by sexual assault. That means if you have a business that serves women, especially in the beauty industry, the retail spaces, wellness, and things of that nature, then there should be an agenda, an intentional way in which you build supportive services into the way you deliver business and the way that you communicate with your clientele. At the end of this month, as a part of the soft relaunch, I will be convening business owners across DC representing the beauty, the wellness, and the retail sectors, not only to launch a new program, but more importantly, to build a coalition of founders, leaders, and influencers in the community who really want to be intentional about how they serve as advocates and partners in the fight against violence, right, and interpersonal violence. So I'm super excited to bring those people together, and also to really start looking at other intentional integrations and collaborative efforts into other programs, festivals. I won't say who, but just know they're coming.
Okay.
And just super excited.
Exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Episode 79, No Hipsters Pod. Talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.